What's up, people? Back with more Metro Last Light, and we are close to the end of the main story. And I hope to God that I have gotten enough morality points to get the true ending, or redemption ending, whichever it is. And it's been quite the ride getting there. So, yeah, we fought the Reds again, specifically Lesnitsky and Pavel. Well, I knocked them both out, and of course showing in the case of Pavel how bullshit the morality system is, especially when it's in areas where it's just, where trying to go no-kill is just not feasible. And we fought a bear, a mama bear, and then spared the bear's life by saving her from watchmen. And we introduced the kid, the little dark one, to Miller, and we're gonna share the info with him on what the Reds are up to. Hopefully it's not too late.
He is not alone. He's not the last. I understand his excitement and his wish to immediately meet the others, to free them and wake them up. But he has agreed to wait a bit longer. First, he's going to try and help us. If we make it to the conference, the Dark One will be able to open up the thoughts of Moskvin, or Korbut himself. Perhaps make them stop this madness. This is our last chance.
Yup, hopefully. Yeah, we found out that there were other Dark Ones locked away in D6, hibernating the whole time.
Permission to report, Colonel.
Denied. Urgent dispatch to D6 Security Force Commander. Go to highest alert. Instruct Korneyev to proceed with... Well, he knows what to do. God, please let this work out.
I asked the kid about how he made it. How did he survive the Inferno? Now I know. When the missiles rained upon the city of the Dark Ones, he was simply not there. The Dark Ones, we've been asking ourselves how it happened so that new sentient life emerged almost instantly. Why did we take millions of years of evolution and all the Dark Ones needed were a few years? The answer was simple. It was us people who had brought them to life. They emerged among us. Sukhoi, my stepfather, was right. They were the next stage of evolution next to ours. We were their fathers, they were our children. We had created so many weapons to destroy ourselves with, and one of those weapons gave birth to them. They are not like us. What kills us makes them stronger. We left them a ravaged, poisoned world. They learned to live in it. They sustain themselves by absorbing radiation. After being born, they do not enter the world at once. For some time, they continue to exist in a dream, growing and learning from the ones who came to be before them. What we destroyed was their home, but the place where their young ones slept was underground, close to the botanical gardens, close to the TV tower. It was the bunkers under the TV buildings which were connected to D6, but when warheads fell, the entrance tunnels caved in. The Dark Ones who were almost ready to enter the world got blocked inside. Instead of them, the little one opened his eyes, awakened by the explosion and the last scream of his mother, knowing nothing of what had happened. Not ready for anything, knowing nothing of the world. He tried looking for his kin, but could not find them, because of the few survivors continued sleeping. Their time to wake up had come and passed. Very soon they could die of hunger without even opening their eyes once. I don't know how Khan persuaded Miller, but he was the icon of stoicism and did not reach for his weapon when he saw the Dark One. And the following events shocked me even more than the plans of the Reds. There were Dark Ones in D6. Khan had hypothesized that they were created artificially before the war. Created as what? Soldiers immune to radiation, having no need for voice, communications? Could be so, but then God probably decided to breathe souls into them. So they're not mutated humans. They're something else completely. I wonder if we'll ever find out, the complete origin of the Dark Ones in the next game. Like, will we run into them again? Or will they be just continue to be left a mystery? Either way works, I guess, but but they have been a part of the series since day one. Wouldn't make sense to just leave them, to ignore them. Ah, fucking Nazis.
I call on the leader of the Red Line, Comrade Bosky, Comrade. And I won't hesitate to use this yes, man. We also consider the motion to distribute the wealth of Eastern righteous and extremely sharp and tiny solution, taking into account the sad reality of our poor underground world. But I would like to digress. A full-blown war in the metro would endanger the lives of everyone who survives the nuclear apocalypse. It is time for us to stop and think what people are doing. Stop and think in the name of preserving humanity as a species. I, as a chairman of the Red Line Coalition, am hereby issuing an official order for the Red Army to cease all military operations.
Yeah, while Corbutt sneaks it through the back door. What, no morality point?
Get ready, Arthur. Stay close to the little one.
Hurrah, comrades! Let there be peace in the name of our children!
You are a liar! Calm. Are you out of your mind? I know what I'm doing. Just believe in me. Just this one time.
Who are you? Guards! Take this man away!
Ranger, stand down!
Artyom, little one, it's your turn.
Oh, it's going in. Into his head. Lenin. Karl Marx. Yeah. Yeah, we're walking in his mind. Oh wait.
Comrade Moscovin, you must support me on this. Or else, some inconvenient details might surface concerning your brother's death. I overheard one conversation between your brother and his advisor about the threat you pose and ways to eliminate it.
What the hell? Threat? We're brothers!
He thinks you feel bypassed, cheated. He fears you will overthrow him.
He's totally mad. Totally. I'm going to give him an earful.
Words alone will not avert his assassination plans. No, you must strike first.
Corbett played him. He played him like a puppet on a string.
Maxim, brother, I'm so pleased that we finally made up. It was a fight over nothing. Let's have a drink.
Sure, brother.
What?
He lied to Moscovin.
Maxim Leonidovich Moskvin has been elected the new Secretary General. Congratulations, Comrade.
Silent treatment. What are you looking at me with those honest eyes for?
Corbett played him.
It was your fault. Who wanted me dead? Corbett sold you out. And now, he's got me by the balls. All because of you.
Trying to rationalize his betrayal.
I'm sorry. I'm so sorry, brother. There's no forgiveness for me. But even so... What was I... Out loud? Ah, I see. So you gave me something. Just like I gave something to brother. Yes. Yes! I did. I poisoned him. And Corbett... I'm a fool. I thought he wanted to save me. And he just took the power. Took me by the throat. And he's storming the D6 now. And there's that virus. And if that falls into Corbett's hands, the end.
But you are the leader. Order him.
Revelation.
Call the troops back. Stall them at least. Buy some time to make a deal.
What kind of
There's nothing more we can do here.
a spy
Hurry.
arm?
Faster! To the platform! Damn them, I'm not surrendering D6. Follow me!
Please give me good ending. Please give me good ending. Please give me good ending. Well, we're going to fight. There's Anna on the left.
It will be bad for everyone if you lose? Then I will ask for their help.
Yes, he's gonna help me. Thank God.
He is gone. He did what he could. And now he is gone to meet his kin. I can't judge him for that. The remainders of humanity are finishing each other off in their final fight. It is not his war. I hope he was able to forgive us. Me. For what we did to his brothers and sisters. His mother and father.
Yeah. Redemption and forgiveness. Well, it's the big battle. Let's go finally kill some Nazis and commies.
Well, Moskvin wasn't bullshitting this time. The red line's advancing on 3 sides. My brothers in arms, I am not a man for speeches, but here it is. You are the most dedicated, most courageous soldiers in the Metro. Each of you is worth 5 reds. If you simply do the job you were trained to do, we'll win this battle!
Tonight we...
Sparta! To battle!
Tonight we dine in hell!
Get back here!
Check your gear. Shoes tight, zippers up.
Get ready, people.
Alright, here they come. Let them come. There is but one Dark One Russian in here who can breathe. Oh no. Explosive train. Ah. Kill some damn commies. Oh no. Perimeter's been breached.
Are you okay? He's been knocked out. Help him get out of here.
Get out of here, old man. We still need your wisdom. What's happening?
All evacuated!
Damn dirty Reds. Probably not a good time to read. We must stop Corbett, prevent him from taking D6. We fail, all we've been through after the war, all the hardships we braved surviving all these years, all the sacrifices. Everything would have been in vain. Could it be that the spring that has finally melted the decades-old ice on the surface, promising us a new hope of leaving the darkness of the underground and reaching out to the sun again, is also in vain? Could it happen that there won't be anyone left to welcome that spring? I can't believe this. Hope still lives while the Order holds D6, while even a single one of us still draws breath. We will stop Corbett at any cost for our friends and families, for the whole of the Metro, for the spring we've all been waiting for the future, comrade. Tanks? Rail tanks. Second platform. I don't know what to do. Shot the railing. Nope. Kill all of them.
Don't get too cocky and still strong.
Kill all of them.
Colonel, wounded are out of the fire zone and headed to the evac point.
Well done. Regroup and get ready. They're going to go at it again any moment now.
Yes, sir.
Shoot the wheels and then the ammo magazine gets exposed. Oh ho ho ho. Is that what I think it is? Chain gun. Oh yeah. Mow them down. Scorch the fucking underground.
Facility is rigged for demolition.
Oh, come on.
I gave the order back in Polis. Now that we've lost D6, our only option is to destroy it.
What the hell? Nobody lives forever.
Oh, come on. That's quitters talk. Uh-oh. Now I know there were never any stores of food or medical supplies in D6 to speak of. Miller just didn't want to tell us that. Damn mosquitoes. He kept opening door after door, hoping to find what he'd promised, our chance for salvation, but all he found were containers with viruses, with bacteria, spores of death. The ancestors left us a vast pile of tabooed weapons, nothing else. And we opened Pandora's box. Corboot knew this. He never cared about food or other supplies. Hungry people are easier to control. They always wanted more. We opened Pandora's box and we're going to seal it back, or die, all of us. Yeah, it was a weapons bunker. We saw the rows upon rows of tanks when we entered D6 in the first game, and not to mention all the viral biological bullcrap that had spread itself throughout the base. So, yeah, for all any of us knows, this was all this was a war facility, and Lord knows what the Dark Ones spawned from. Oh Oh, you kidding me? Freaking train. Makeshift ramming train.
Secure the perimeter! Cover the exits! Stay alert, men!
Save your voice, Kirillov. Here, there are only dead Spartans. I feel a bit like Xerxes.
So we're going with the 300 references.
Unforgivable waste of men and resources. So many good soldiers lost. And for what? Molestation? The council? Ah, well. All are cleansed by the fires of revolution. What a pleasant surprise, Colonel Miller. Or what remains of you.
His foot's gone.
It is time.
No, give me the good ending.
My biscuit. The resourceful young man. Tell me, Artyom, savior of the Metro. Where are you going?
Dark Ones.
Artyom, no need for that now.
I did it. Heh. Redemption trophy. Sweet. The angels of death have come to save us. They're mind screwing the Reds, getting them to kill each other.
Ullman died, like most of the Spartans.
Ah.
Miller survived and is now in charge of police guards, even though he's confined to a wheelchair. And Khan just disappeared.
As he does.
He once told me, what if this little Dark One is the last of the angels sent to save us? The fact that the little one came back and brought his kin, maybe that was the pardon and salvation. For me, for the Order, for all of us in the Metro. The last light of hope in this kingdom of darkness.
It will be better for everyone if we go away, Artyom.
Aw.
But one day we'll come back. I'll be big then. Goodbye, my friend.
Take care, kid. Hope to see you again in Exodus.
The Dark Ones are gone. But I know we will meet again. Maybe they really were sent to save us. Maybe we did earn forgiveness.
Wow. Well, we did it. We got the good canon ending for Metro 2034 Last Light. I can't believe I actually managed to get it, despite missing a few things I didn't even realize. And I was reading through the comments of like several point guides, and some of them kind of like really freaked me out. Like some players were like, we did everything and yet we still got the bad ending anyway. Ugh. So I'm so glad that wasn't the case. Awesome ending music. Much more triumphant than the last game. There's the tower from 2033 on the left, I think. Well, what do I think about Last Light, especially in comparison to the first game? Well, going by the original version of 2033, it's definitely a much more sleek game by comparison. And the graphics are definitely improved. The original 2033, you know, you can definitely tell they're dated, and, you know, they used the same engine this game has in order to redo 2033 in the Redux package. So, yeah. Very good-looking game, even right now. The gunplay, for the most part, is pretty good, although apparently, you know, I picked Spartan difficulty this time instead of Survivor. It honestly did not feel that different from how it did before. You know, walk very slow, so on and so forth. Really, I think the only main difference I saw was just increased ammo frequency. I don't know. Let me, as for what in terms of gameplay, what does it improve? Well, it definitely improves on the stealth. Metro 2033 to me, I felt, had a very, very rocky stealth. Like, there were areas you could theoretically do it in 2033, but there were areas where I would try to do it and I never found a right way to do it. Like, there were areas like the Black Station level where I'm just, I could not do a complete stealth without knocking anyone out. I never could. And considering the fact that the default canon ending for that game is the bad ending anyway, you might as well just, you know, any opposition you find that actually does see you, you might as well kill them and, you know, and be done. Whereas with this game, they really emphasize the stealth by comparison. And for the most part, a lot of the levels are much more accommodating. Where it does fail, however, is that for every 5 or so good areas, there's at least 2 where it doesn't work. The train level is a good example of this. Hold on a second, someone's calling me. What is it? No, I'm at home. Oh, come, bye. Okay, as I was saying, yeah, for every 5 or so, good stealth areas, there's, like, several that aren't. The train level is a good example of this, where you are I tried to turtle up and heal, but at the end of the day, it just wasn't feasible. And then you had the Pavel sniper area in the red square, where there is no way to sneak through any of it, except hide and just wait for them. Oh, and there's also the contagion level or whatever, where part of the back wall comes down and they all come rushing at you anyway. There's no way to sneak through any of those. I tried repeatedly. So they expect you to, and this ties in with the morale system, they expect you to go through 100% of the game without killing any human being, and yet sometimes they trap you in rooms where they mob you and you're left with either knocking them out by waiting for them to stupidly come and find you, or having to shoot them anyway, as was the train. So it's like they can't make up their mind as to how they want to do no-kill stealth and morality points. And that also goes into my biggest problem with Metro, both of them. And hopefully this will be addressed in the sequel. The morality system. The morality system fucking blows in this game. They expect you to literally walk around and stop and listen to every single thing, find almost every single hidden pseudo side quest and object, and make the right decisions. And of course, the worst one, don't kill anybody. And I'm sorry, but in a game with a setting like this, where pretty much 99.9% of all life wants to kill you, I think it's pretty ludicrous that they want you to go through the whole game not killing any single armed soul, no matter how armed he is. It's just, I can understand some parts. There are some parts where I can get it, like, hey, this pack of monsters is terrified, they don't want you to hurt them. Okay, I'll walk away then. Hey, these guys are not armed, they're just minding their own business. Don't rob from them or don't kill them. I get that. Or this guy is trying to hide. I get that. And also the spare certain enemies in the game, like the bear or Pavel. I get something like that. But do not make me go through a whole areas of the game expecting me to not kill anyone, when in in some of the aforementioned cases, it's either not feasible or it's just impossible. Go to here so that way it doesn't get interrupted. So yeah, the morality system honestly is very inconsistent, is really inefficient, and I duly hope with Metro Exodus that they either improve upon it by keeping it restricted to either decisions in the game and not, keeping me from actually defending myself or killing enemies that are going to kill me anyway. So they really need to either ditch it or refine it to be much more accommodating, because it's just not good. And with the original game and with the original release's reputation, it goes with the ending as well. That goes into the storytelling. For the most part, the story of Metro Last Light, it's pretty good. I would say it's up there in quality compared to the first game, but I wouldn't call it better than the first game, because let's be honest, there are several leaps in logic in the storytelling of this game compared to the last game that I find myself just being kind of head-scratching. For example, when in the Contagion quarantine level, when you rescue Anna, why is it that Artyom just, drops his mask and never puts it back on, or at best, give it to Anna? Like, that makes no sense. And why is it that only now Artyom remembers his experience with the Dark One, when that honestly would have been something he would have remembered very well into adulthood? I don't know, if a freaking gray alien-looking thing came and rescued me from a pack of monsters, I think I'd remember it.
When asked how it all...
Oh, let's skip it anyway. And also some of the character bits here and there, like the romance, like I said a few parts ago, the romance comes out of nowhere, it's not built up enough, you don't hang around with Anna nearly enough in the game for it to be built upon it. It just comes out of nowhere. And that, of course, all falls into probably the biggest underlying issue I have with the storytelling in both Metro games. Artyom never talks. No, the monologues do not count. I'm talking like in-game with other people, like, I really don't like this. Like, this is the biggest, it's the biggest fallacy that I have with first-person shoot games where developers want you to be immersed into them. Immersion works in either one of two ways. Either I'm genuinely my own character in a game where I actually make the rules of how my character goes about things, like, say, the Fallout games, or Skyrim games, or even Monster Hunter? Or am I immersed as in the actual world the character inhabits? Because they're trying to eat their cake and wolf it down, too, by doing both, and honestly, it doesn't work. This is a problem I have with games that try to do this, like, say, Dishonored. Or heck, even even games that I love to death, like First Encounter Assault Recon. Like, if the character clearly has history with the people around him, like, are they loved ones, significant others, friends? I expect the main character to, respond in kind.
When asked.
And also, even if the romance was rushed, I would have believed it a bit more if Artyom actually had reciprocated anything through speakable dialogue. And it just, honestly, if the character is just going through the motions, regardless of who tells him what, then he's not really a character anymore, he's a fucking robot. And I honestly hate that. That only works for certain games, where any kind of such characteristics are limited, like Doom. Hell, Master Chief in Halo is like somewhere on the middle line. Because at least there, you kind of know what he is. You know what he is and why. So he's the man of action, and as a soldier, he's like, he doesn't, he follows orders. Whereas with Artyom, we've been with him since day one, from 2033 to this, and he's definitely not just a standard. He's not a standard grunt. He has family and history. So, and considering how the plot goes throughout both games, it would have made more sense had he just talked throughout the whole game. Maybe not all the time, but enough where you get greater hints of character and character interaction. Not just him being wheeled around by the nose and people telling him, hey, go do this thing, don't question it. And, yeah, that's pretty much the biggest failings I have with Last Light. It has a lot of high moments, but at the same time, it's not as well written as 2033 due to just trite writing. And it's looking like with Exodus, he's still not gonna talk, which I'm very disappointed in. I could be wrong, but that's what it's looking like. So even if he doesn't talk, I guess I'll let it go. But at the end of the day, they need to do something about that morality system. Oh, and also, this is the other big issue I have with the story, the endings. They 4A, I don't know what your deal is, but for God's sakes, pick an ending and stick with it. Like, I don't mind multiple endings in games, but only if it makes sense. For example, you had the first Turok game, right? Well, that game had multiple endings, but that game barely had a story to begin with. And it was kept to its own universe, more or less. And, here's the thing, though. The Metro games are tied in with the Metro novels. I mean, the first game was an adaptation of the first book, but after that, everything kind of just went into, like, interconnectedness. You had 2034, the book, which took place which took place after 2033, but with a different cast of characters, including Hunter, who survived whatever it was he went to do in 2033. And then you have Last Light, which takes place at the same time. And then you have the most recent book, 2035, which takes place after 34 and the events of Last Light, and now Exodus, which takes place after all of them. So they clearly, with the success of the novels as well as the potential that was unleashed with the first game and how decently it went, Dmitry Kuklovsky and 4A Games clearly decided, hey, people like our world, why don't we expand upon it and connect them? That's clearly what they did.
When asked.
But since they're both interconnected and going with each other, and have a preset, you know, depending on what the author does, you know, where the story goes, there's really no need for multiple endings. With the first game, I get it. The first game, you know, you make the default ending, the bad one, because that's how the novel ended, with Artyom blowing up the Dark One colony. And if you wanted to, you could, you know, try to get the good ending where Artyom doesn't fire the missiles. That I get. First game, first book, before any sequels were ever made, I can understand that. However, with Last Light, they flipped the script around where, with the first game, the default ending was the bad one, regardless of which, if you went out and killed any commies and Nazis and bandits, you know, whatever. You can pretty much do whatever you want. Whereas with the good ending, the spare everyone, you pretty much had to go that one being as stealthy as possible, not killing anyone, and making good decisions. And that was, of course, the non-canon ending. With Last Light, they flipped the script and had it where the good ending is the canon one, but the bad ending is the one you get if you don't play very specifically no kill rules. The bad ending you get anyway if you do kill anyone and make decisions the game does not want you to painstakingly do, while the good ending is the one you have to work your ass off to, no matter how stupid the road to it can get at times. And I've said it a million times, and I'll say it till 4A Games finally gets it. If I'm going to play any with multiple endings, I honestly would prefer the default one would be the canon ending. Especially in a game like this where they throw so much unnecessary rules at you, where it just makes it a chore. I'm not having fun. I'm being forced to put in work in a game where it doesn't exactly, you know, work, for lack of better terms. So, as for what Last Light does well, it does really well. The gunplay's tight, the weapons are varied, the enemies are cool, and there's some cool boss fights here and there, like the bear and the rhino, and you have a nice little final battle at the end where you finally just get to take the gloves off and just unleash rounds into the commies. And there are a lot of cool moments that are like, oh my god, what the hell is going on here? That's where the game definitely excels in continuation from 33. A lot of WTF freakazoid moments, from the creatures to the supernatural stuff that happens. And the interaction with the Dark One is all very good, and I'm glad that we get some characters back, like Khan. And here's hoping he shows up again in Exodus. I know Anna's gonna be married with Artyom by the events of that game. Like if 2035 was any indication, the book, I mean. So yeah, graphics nice, gameplay's nice. Story, while not as well written, has its good points. A lot of good supernatural stuff and some cool levels and environments. But the morality system and the flipped double ending just does not work. And the fact that Artyom is still silent when he really shouldn't just kind of derails proper storytelling, in my opinion. So, overall, good game. It's a good sequel to the first game. I just personally think the endings and morality system really kind of put a blotch on it. And I'm hoping with Exodus, they finally figure themselves out. Like, improve or ditch the morality system and actually let the players make their own decisions. And if Glukhovsky has a genuine vision for how he wants to end the series in mind, stick to that. No more of this alternate ending garbage, especially in a series where it doesn't matter. that much. Now, I know what you're thinking. What about The Witcher? The Witcher games are based on the Witcher novels, and you make alternate decisions in those aplenty, right? Well, here's the problem. The Witcher novels were written long before the games ever were, and the games take place after the novels. So, in a way, you could pretty much get away with it under that regard, whereas Metro, the books, and the games are going hand in hand with each other, so... Witcher, it's fine, it works, but in this, it frankly doesn't, in my opinion. Anyway, that's the main story of Metro Last Light. And oh boy, it's been one hell of a ride, and I am ready and waiting for Exodus to come out. But the game is not technically over yet, because there was DLC expansions for Last Light back on it when it was originally on the 360 and PS3, and with Metro Redux they released not only both games but all DLCs attached to that were attached to them. And look at that, play new missions, heavy squad, and a bunch of new side stuff right here. Tower pack, spider lair. Okay. So, we got ourselves some new levels right here from DLC expansions. So that's what I'm going to do next in order to finish the game off. So, main story, done. Extra levels, that's what we're going to finish off with. So, I'm going to take a break and come back later, and hopefully these levels will go fast enough where we can finish, put a cap on Last Light once and for all. So, thank y'all for watching. I'll be back with the extra levels. Hope you enjoyed the main story of Last Light and both the victories and the pitfalls. So, and my occasional rants on how I feel those things did and did not work. So, be back soon with the last of the game. Das Vidania.